Hello guys and welcome to Bullet Gaming. After a prolonged absence, we're back on Battlefield 5. It's 2020 and I want to take some time and talk about the state of the game, what is actually happening, and what I think is going to happen in the next few months. If you're a long-time Battlefield player, you know that we had a few updates after the Pacific War expansion released just a couple of months back, and not all of these updates actually went down well with the community. Especially the time to kill update, which made enemies a lot more spongy at longer distances, has been quite controversial and has alienated many of the dedicated players. The reintroduction of the spotting mechanic this time slightly changed, since we don't have the Doritos like in Battlefield 4 and 3, but we have a simple marker that shows up enemies that are in close proximity and actually highlights them only when you're aiming at them, even at longer distances. Also annoyed many players who like to use the terrain and vegetation to slip by enemy lines and flank them. Now it's actually impossible, since you get spotted as soon as you get close to anyone. These changes with a series of bugs and glitches have been a major factor in long-time players dropping off the game, but still I don't see how this game can actually go down completely. Point of fact is, Battlefield, with as many issues as it has right now, and always had even back in Battlefield 3 and 4 when they were released, still has been an experience that cannot be replicated by any other game. I myself personally still love the game just for the fact that it's uniquely spectacular and entertaining, especially if you play with friends. Also, Battlefield 5 is still one of the most accessible multiplayer AAA experiences I've ever had. As far as multiplayer shooters go, they have a pretty steep learning curve compared to Battlefield, also are more time consuming, especially the Battle Royale type. If you really want to have a match, you can actually jump in for 15 minutes and get out, while in Battle Royale games, you cannot actually do that. It's also really hard for me to actually get bored, because if I get bored of playing on planes, I actually switch to playing tanks, and if I get bored playing tanks, I can play infantry, and also each of these subsets has different vehicles, different weapons, different playstyles, different unlocks, making it so you can tailor the experience you want to yourself. Despite the bugs, you can actually go and have fun. Most of the backlash actually comes from competitive players, those players that want to win at all cost. And don't get me wrong, I'm extremely competitive myself, but hell, if I wanted to have fun, this game has never let me down and is a spectacle to behold. Also, I have a feeling that the DICE team is actually working in the right direction. Despite the changes in the first patch, they released the patch 5.2.2 a couple of weeks back, in which they actually reverted or counteracted most of the negative effects of the previous one. For example, the auto spotting distance is lower and the field of view for long distance spotting is a lot smaller. Also, we had a buff to many of the weapons that had a really hard time now killing people at longer ranges. And to be honest, most of weapons that weren't altered actually shouldn't be able to kill anyone at over 200 meters, like the M1907, one of my favorites. That role is actually held by other weapons that are made for that purpose, making this way each weapon have its own playstyle. Fact is that it's actually pretty hard to make everyone happy when a game has this many weapons, vehicles, and this many playstyles. Every time you make a change, you're gonna make someone mad. So where do we go from here? Pacific War was a success, and DICE has just released a remastered version of Wake Island, which is probably the most iconic Battlefield map of all time. And I think at the same time the devs are working on to revert most of the negative changes brought by the TTK update during the next months. From my point of view, the game is still definitely alive and being worked on regularly. Obviously, the release schedule is way slower than what we had in the past for the DLC system, but at the same time, we're not going to pay for every map, which is a new step in the right direction. So if you have not played the game in a while or cannot decide whether to buy or not, don't get discouraged by the comments you see online and go and try it for yourself. The player base is healthy and the game is great fun. Also, you can actually give it a try using the Origin system without actually having to pay for the game. Before ending this video, just a little update on the channel. Clearly, it's been a long time since the last video and I'm sorry about that, but sometimes life gets in the way. The tutorials are making a comeback, just like the weekly challenges and entertainment videos. We'll also be following new game releases, so if you like this video, please leave a like, comment or subscribe, and until next time, See you on the battlefield.